Hello everybody, boys and girls, welcome to this video, and we're going to talk about our next composition, and it is the writing of an article, or some say a feature article. Now, so before we go into the details of the tips of writing a feature article, maybe we should better start with the situation that we have this time. Now, there you go. It is the annual Science Week. In order to introduce students to major scientists and revolutionary inventors who changed the way we live our life, you are writing a feature article for the school magazine about a famous scientist or inventor or engineer. Write about 350 words and give your article a title. Now, there are a few things that we need to know, and of course the most important point is right here, that we are writing a feature article. So that's exactly what I said at the beginning of the video clip. This time, yes, we're writing a feature article. About what? About a famous scientist, inventor, or engineer. Okay, so those are the very basic facts you need to know. But on the other hand, we also need to know that we are writing for a school magazine, because it is the annual Science Week. So every year, let's imagine that our school holds the Science Week, and we want to introduce students to understand more about the famous major scientists and inventors who changed the way we live our life, and that's why we are asked to write this article. Alright, so basically this is the background and the task requirement. Now, so if we take one more step, take the next step into how to write this. There are a few things you need to know. So what is exactly a feature article? How do we write a feature article? Or what is so special about a feature article? I hope you still have some memory of this article that we read previously. Alright, so that's an article that we read previously in our textbook, and the title of the article is From Imagination to Reality, and we of course know that this is an article about a writer who is also referred to as the father of science fiction, and his name is Jules Verne. Alright, so I hope you still have some vague memory about him. Now, of course, we need to know that the purpose of writing an article like this one, there are basically two main purposes. The first one is that we want to inform readers about a certain person or a certain topic of interest, and we want to describe or to explain this topic to our readers. And secondly, and equally importantly, we want to amuse and entertain our readers so that they feel interested in what we're writing, and they may learn something about a person or a certain activity or a certain tradition, for example. So these are the two purposes of writing an article. Alright. So in other words, an article is not for expressing your personal feelings. It's not that concerned about, for example, lodging a complaint. No, it's not about that. It is to inform, to describe, to explain, and therefore to amuse and to entertain. Okay. Now, maybe we can talk more about the styles, the stylistic features of an article. Of course, I think it's commonly understood that it should be written using some linking words in order to present the ideas logically in an organized way. And because the main function is to inform and to describe and to explain, therefore we need to use descriptive and informative language in order to explain. Yeah. So that's another main feature. But exactly how we can achieve it, well, I will tell you a bit more later on in my next slides. So don't you worry about it. So there we go, back to our situation. We are writing this feature article for the school magazine about a famous scientist, inventor and engineer. In other words, we're introducing a person, or you may say a celebrity scientist, inventor, engineer to our readers, because we want to see how they have changed the way we live our life, how they have changed our world, basically. So the focus is on the scientist or inventor or the engineer, a particular person. So boys and girls, can you come up with a certain person in your head? Can you think of a particular scientist? How many scientists or inventors do you really know? I have got a few suggestions for you, and we'll see if you would like to write about these people or any one of those people. Now, my candidate number 1, I think most of you know who this is. Yes, you're right, this is Steve Jobs. This is Mr. Steve Jobs, the founder of the Apple company. If you are using an iPhone, well, you should be proud that the machine, the gadget, is created or invented by Steve Jobs. So this is candidate number 1. Well, think about whether you want to write about him and introduce him to your fellow classmates. Candidate number 2. Yes, that's a lady here. That's Madame Curie. Madame Curie, Marie Curie. A very, very famous female scientist who won the Nobel Prize twice. Not once, but twice. So you can say she is one of the most important scientists in human history. Number 2, so that's a Madame Curie. See if you want to write about her. Number 3, candidate number 3. Well, you may not recognize that face, but if you know that he is holding something like a light bulb here, then you must be able to guess that yes, this is Edison, Thomas Edison, the person, the inventor of the light bulb. Well, you know how important the light bulb is in our everyday life, so you must show gratitude to this inventor, Thomas Edison. But how much do you know about his life? How much do you know exactly his achievements in many different areas? Well, you may want to tell your students more about Thomas Edison. My candidate number 4, my 4th suggestion, this is Elon Musk. I think some of you may know him because he's still alive and kicking, and he's making some fundamental changes to the way we live our life today, because he is the founder of, Tesla. So for the boys who love cars, then you may want to someday own a Tesla car, and Elon Musk is the founder of Tesla, and he is also the founder of SpaceX. Okay, so in other words, he sends rockets, spaceships to the outer space, and maybe someday our dream may come true, traveling in outer space. You and I may one day be spending our holiday in the outer space, thanks to Elon Musk. This is my suggestion number 4. Number 5, my second last suggestion. Yes, of course, with that very impressive haircut. This is Sir Isaac Newton, the father of modern science. Some called him, yes, Sir Newton. And you see him on the textbook, but maybe you want to tell more, you want to know more about him. And last but not least, my last recommendation. This is, yes, he may not look that familiar compared to the other candidates on the screen, but in fact he is not less important in our daily life, because he has brought the the World Wide Web to our world. So he is the inventor, the father of the World Wide Web. I don't think we can live without the internet nowadays. So can you give a round of applause to this gentleman here? This is Sir Tim Berners-Lee. Tim Berners-Lee. So, well, if you didn't know much about him, or maybe you think that your classmates do not know enough about him, maybe yes, with this article you can tell them more. But how? Well, you may of course have other choices, but anyway, how? Well, I can only give you one piece of advice. That's to do research, and to do plenty of research. How? Well, maybe I can show you this example. Well, what you need to do is pretty straightforward. Go to Google, and then, for example, you are interested in Elon Musk, and you type his name there, Elon Musk, and probably Wikipedia is a good starting point. Yes, so you study the profile here, but you know it's a sea of information, and you may not know where to start. Yeah. So you may want to narrow it down to, say, Elon Musk achievements. Then you may focus your research on this part, or you may use the word biography, that is a summary of his life, biography.com, for example. On this website you may find a summary of the life of Elon Musk. So his achievements, who he really is, and his early life, and his family, his education, and his companies, so on and so forth. Just go down and do a lot of research, make notes, and organize yourself so that you are ready to write your feature article about this famous engineer, scientist, or inventor. Alright, so research, and do plenty of research so that you know the subject very well, the person very well. And I've got another choice for you. Of course, you can go to YouTube. Apart from google.com, well, you can go to YouTube and to watch a few videos about him. But again, you may get lost in the sea of videos there. So my suggestion is to type something like Elon Musk biography. Biography is a good search word. So you can look at this very short clip of 9 minutes and get an idea of who he is, why he is so important, in the modern world, what changes he is really making to the way we live. So you may watch this and know a little bit more about this person. Alright, you have still plenty of choices. Serve your needs, and the ultimate goal is to help yourself understand the person so that you can write your article. Now I should move on to the next part. There are a few guiding questions in order for you to write this feature article well, especially with a better organization. So you may want to follow this flow here. During your research, you may want to find out the background, the family background, the educational background of the person. So you may want to focus your research on this first question mark. Secondly, you may also want to talk about, or want to know more about, the setbacks. In other words, did he ever encounter any difficulties in his journey before he really achieved those successes? Has he ever come up with any setbacks, hardships, problems, difficulties, failures? So that's my second guiding question for you. Number 3, of course, at the end of the day, you need to come back to this question, the major achievements, because we want to talk about the most important scientist
inventor, engineer in our time. So of course you cannot avoid that question, the major achievements of this person. And finally, please also explain how they changed the way we live. How come we cannot live without them, or without their inventions, or without their achievements? So in your article, please make sure that you cover these questions within the 350 words, for example. To put it in more concrete terms, I want to give you this organization, this layout there. Of course, you want to start with the title, and my tip is try to make it catchy by using rhymes, using alliteration, having wordplay in your title, so that you can, attract your readers simply with the start of a title. Of course, creating a good title is not an easy job, but you can improve after referring to more examples. Go to the internet, go to some good newspaper, go to your bookshelf and see how people create their titles. Now, after having the title, settling on that title, you might want to move on to paragraph 1, the introduction. But what does it really include? Well, my tip is try to show the most striking and unique feature in your first paragraph, and it can be something like about his or her appearance, his or her most important invention, his or her influence. The point is to make it striking and to show that the person you are introducing is a unique person, and you want to raise the interest of your readers with the first paragraph. Well, of course, you don't want to give everything away in your first paragraph, but try to at least make them excited, make them curious about the person that you are going to write about. Now there is paragraph 2, the background. Of course, I'm talking about the family background, the upbringing, the educational background, the career, the start of his career. So, well, for every person, before they really achieved something monumental, they had a starting point. So you want to give a background of this scientist. So I'm giving you a few directions here. So talk about the family. When he or she was just a little boy, a little girl in school, what sent him to this path of being an inventor or a scientist? So give them some background. Give your readers some background about this person. Paragraph 3 okay, so before we move on to the achievements, before we say how successful they are, you may want to, introduce the setbacks and to show that it's not that easy. It's not plain sailing all the way through. Give them a twist. Try to say or try to describe how difficult it really is at the beginning. So you may want to include 1 or 2 examples of his or her failures, difficulties, the hardships that they had to go through before they became successful. So paragraph 3 is very important, because without paragraph 3, everything will look just so easy, too easy. Paragraph 4, of course, the main thing, the highlight of the whole feature article, that is the achievements. Well, describe how the hardships were overcome in paragraph 3, say how they were overcome, and then what successes and what honors were finally earned by this person. And this is supposed to be the main part. So let's say, for example, if you're writing about Elon Musk, you may want to say, well, how he failed again and again in the creation and the invention of SpaceX. All right, and he spent millions and billions of dollars there, and he ended up with nothing. But until one critical moment, he finally succeeded, and he sent his first spaceship to the outer space. And then he was getting more popular, and people recognized his achievements. Blah 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 blah. And now many people are having their eyes on Elon Musk and seeing how his achievements can bring us, the humankind, to another level. So this is paragraph 4. Give details and describe the story there. And finally, of course, that's the conclusion. In the conclusion, you may want to highlight the achievements and importance of the person. Alright, so try to show the significance, the importance of this person with paragraph 5, so that people want to learn more about him or her after reading your feature article. So basically, this is it from the title through all the way through to paragraph 5, and your job is done there. And of course, everything starts with a very good research, very thorough research. So I'm going to show you a few numbers there. That's 10, 20, 30, 30 and 10, meaning, well, the introduction should take up about 10% of the whole feature article, and 20% will come from the background, but the most percentage will go into paragraph 3, the setbacks, and paragraph 4, the achievement, and then you round it up with a 10% conclusion, and that makes a complete, well-balanced, well-organized feature article. So that's my suggestion. Of course, in different cases, the percentage may vary a little bit. Now, last but not least, I want to give you some tips on the language features. So, okay, you've been telling us about the importance of doing research, and you have given us suggestions about the organization, the structure, the layout of the feature article. But what about the language? Now, there you go. The first tip I'm giving you is that try to be conversational. Now, what I mean here is that you don't want to make your article too formal, because after all, this is not a news report. This is not a news report. This is a feature article, which is supposed to inform your readers and to entertain or to amuse them, so that they enjoy reading your article. They are not reading a newspaper article, but they're not reading a newspaper report, but they are reading an article for fun, for getting more knowledge about a certain field. So you may want to talk to them in more casual terms. So that's my first tip. Be conversational. Interact with your reader. Don't scare them. Don't bore them. Try to make them interested. Number 2, a good mix of facts and opinions. And as I said, this is not a news report, so you don't just want to present everything like a news report, simply facts. You are welcome, and it is suitable for you to include certain opinion there on your own, coming from you. And I'm saying that it's a good mix of both of them. A good mix of both. On one hand, you're presenting facts, truth about the person. On the other hand, you may say a few words about what people think or what you think about this person, or his failures or his achievements. So that was my second tip. And the third tip is to paint a picture. Paint a vivid picture for the readers, so that they can feel that this is a living person, that his or her life is full of ups and downs, and so they are interested in their stories. So paint a good picture of this person, And so, in other words, you need to be putting a lot of effort in the descriptive language. Speaking of which, I want to also recommend that you use the rhetorical questions in order to interact with your readers. So please consider including 1 or 2 rhetorical questions in your article, so that when your readers are reading your article, they feel like okay, here is a question and I need to think about the question, and I may see an answer later on in this article. So do include 1 or 2 rhetorical questions. My other tip is that you can also consider including some quotes, direct quotes or indirect quotes. Quote what that person has said, or quote what other people have said about this person to show their importance, for example. So why not include a quote about this person, or quote what they have said, like you may want to quote what Steve Jobs has once said about his life, his achievements. Was he proud of his achievements? Did he have any regrets? So find a nice quote and put it insert into your feature article to give it more life, more truth, more reality there. My last tip. Well, you may want to also make use of the imagery, similes, metaphors, in order to give more colors to your writing. Don't make it too dull, don't make it too plain, don't make it too ordinary. You may want to make it more vivid and paint a better picture by the use of imagery, simile and metaphor. Alright, so that's about it. I think we are about to end here. Once again, we are writing an article this time, feature article about famous scientist, inventor, engineer, just like Steve Jobs, Thomas Edison, Isaac Newton, Marie Curie, Elon Musk, or Sir Tim Berners-Lee. Alright, and so we look forward to reading your article. Have a good time researching the person that you're interested in, and try to brainstorm ideas and organize your ideas and present them in an interesting way. And we look forward to learning more from you about those major scientists and revolutionary inventors. So I hope you find this video helpful, and you benefit from the content of this video. Have a good time writing. I'll see you. Have a lovely day. Bye.